Hey, how's it going? Today's 11th of January, Thursday, and we are taking a look at the market, what kind of opportunities are available out there. I thought today I'm going to be doing things slightly different. Perhaps within this video I can take a different angle. So, myself, one of the biggest problems going to be sourcing individuals and solving problems. And I thought if I were to take a look at perhaps outside, perhaps that would be different areas of expertise that can people bring to the table. That would be great. Myself, I'm interested in meeting new people and or perhaps understanding new processes and learning new things, right? And offering that expertise to you, perhaps even your case market, that would be even better instead of doing things like they always have been done. Then coming from business perspective, perhaps those people might offer different perspectives in solving problems. Right? That would be kind of great, I guess. And I have covered Taiwan as well as I have taken a look at Hong Kong. I thought it might be worth taking a look at Japan. And within this video, let's delve a little bit deeper and trying to understand what would be required of hiring people from Japan. Even today, I had a conference call where the person from one of the government institutions was talking about the process. Perhaps that's a process that currently is being done where you would need to build everything, time frame perhaps 5 years or so. I don't have 5 years to waste. I know how to do everything. I don't have 5 years. I need to scale everything. That's where I am. If I can, I need hundreds of people. It's not thousands of people. How I can hire in thousands, not in hundreds. I don't know if that would register with many people. I can rephrase it. There's a lady down the street, right, and she's looking to hire someone to perhaps work with nails or something, right? And she's been trying to hire someone for a year or perhaps for maybe 2 years now. It has started with advert, right? I think the first one was hanged on her shop window, perhaps. Now it's been hanged on her car, so she's still looking for those people, right? I already know it's something that I'm gonna be myself struggling with hiring people. The faster I will get into, I need bigger, faster, and finding those professionals, right? So I don't necessarily need to limit myself within the matter of 20 mile radius. I'm looking if I can. I will be sourcing everything worldwide if I can. From there, let's come back to the Bristol City Council and Mayor and some of the strategies and all points highlighted within his announcement, right? I don't think there was any major pain points within the council. I don't think there was. Yeah, that I would see myself opportunities, right? So something I have touched on that would be a world-class aerospace, perhaps housing. That would be the main problems, and I think the budget currently not necessary. This I think it's what something that was outlined perhaps 35 million or something that might be considered year on year operating cost of the council. I think that's how I understood it, right? So it would be about 35 million or so only. Great. So I think that's just overall. Perhaps if people might, if we are taking a look at Japan, perhaps we can take a look at perhaps food business. How we can set up a business, food business would be great. Everyone involved, great food. I think how we can source any professional from Japan food, and we're still addressing budget, right? So raising additional finance. I don't think there is that many restaurants from Japan. There is quite a few actually. There's always another one. That's just in case. For argument's sake, let's take a look at food and what the process might look like. As it has been defined on government's website, that with the council's budget, current, past, and future revenue budgets, capital program. So I think it's 32 million. But and the way how I understood it, right? So not necessarily this is what they are saying. The way how I understood it, that would be 32. So I think the operating costs, perhaps operating costs are about 50 million or so, and they're still looking for about 32 or so. So I think there's somewhere around that area, but it's fluctuating, right? So it's not necessarily in place, as well as new initiatives and how council might be able to easily to raise capital, introducing licensing for vehicles and everything. So it might be a lot easier to operate with some of those consoles, right, compared to other places within the UK, right? Since we are taking a look at Bristol, perhaps. And either way, let's progress into perhaps setting up a food business within the area. If we were to set up a food business before doing anything, perhaps worth reaching out to council and or receiving necessary standards to operate a food business, right? If we are talking, myself, I have all qualifications by the way to that, right? As well as might be taking a look at these standard agencies and all that food safety standards, perhaps that would be oral hygiene, labeling. If we take a look at something like soya sauce perhaps and or different allergens, right? So that would be very important. From there, we take a look at a potential other way how to do that. It would be setting up a food business. Perhaps I could reach out with regards to that, as well as importing food. Perhaps overall coffee myself is something would be considering in perhaps importing this because it would not necessarily be able to be grown locally, right? So different ways how to approach and or have necessary standards and or improvements first, as well as it's always a great idea to have concession from council. So that would be just a few areas how to do it, I guess. Myself coming into this, right? That looks like a website that was designed by Japanese software developers. So it's very intuitive to people from Japan, but not necessarily a very foreigner-friendly website. So that's the most of Japanese websites that I've been on. And I think it's overall designed that would be perhaps visiting or entering, perhaps people moving. So perhaps that would be individuals, right? Myself, I'm coming into this as industry, and I would be looking to perhaps establish working relationships. And again, if there might be some quotas, I think that's another way of defining it, where perhaps only a certain number of people might be able to enter from Japan into UK, and if they were to be able to enter, then might need to have perhaps a letter from business or something similar to that, right? So myself, I'm looking to establish those relationships, and it comes to perhaps giving those opportunities for people to come in, and perhaps if they would be interested, perhaps just use that as an example of setting up a business, right? That would be a great experience for everyone involved. People might visit. So it would be great for people there. It would be great perhaps for local communities and have experience of the different culture. Having perhaps food prepared in front of you, that would be a great experience. I would love that. Just saying, that would be just an example, right? Even taking a look at not necessarily just perhaps limited to Bristol area. Perhaps in Bristol, someone's already doing and or having very similar business. If we are taking a look at the stakes, different parts of UK might have that already, right? But overall, that would be perhaps a great experience for everyone involved. Then we're taking a look at some of the stakes and something that myself I might be interested in Wagyu steaks. That would be great. I think if someone would be interested, and myself, if I were to source professional and help secure the work placement, expertise, experience, apprenticeship, great for a year or so, and that would be great experience for everyone involved. I personally believe. Yourself, if you're interested in learning more, I have published a book where I'm taking a look at livestock enterprise and where to begin, how to start this business, then setting up your own livestock enterprise. Many people were to begin by taking a look at the budget and some of those expenses where they spending their money all the time. Perhaps at the top, that would be housing, that would be most likely rent, mortgage, house payments. From there, perhaps food, and third payment might be a car. If we're taking a look at the food, and if you were to be interested in reducing some of those expenses, perhaps living a more sustainable lifestyle, growing your own food, that would be a good place to begin. And how you yourself you progress from doing something that you enjoy and or covering some of those expenses and any surplus, perhaps selling back to community. That was just an example of how to do it. You can find it QR code in the corner, company's website below. Overall experience, most likely gonna be way different, and it's gonna be very complex, complicated. People don't want to do anything. That's most likely that's what's really gonna happen. So I'll try to reach out, but perhaps I'll try to reach out now. And if there won't be any response, perhaps if there is gonna be any response, to say the least, I will be myself trying to understand the process of working together. I'm more interested in the process, not necessarily actually accomplishing. Perhaps if I can, great. If I can understand the process of working together with this embassy or perhaps some of these embassies that I mentioned already, great. The process would be more important, something I'm looking to understand, since most likely once I'm gonna have to source qualified professionals, I'm gonna need to follow the same process every time. So the process would be more important than actually finding individual. If individual would come, do something for a year or two, great. It would be a great experience for everyone involved, but most likely that would be an ongoing process, right? Hopefully, I have said process enough time so people understand what I'm actually looking to accomplish. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.